Ba-doop, 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 ba-doop. Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this fabulous Monday. Is it a fabulous Monday? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about the astrology. You'll tell me how fabulous this is. So welcome. My name is Mary Jane Tracy, and I am a spiritual love of life coach and a budding astrologer. And they went and let me do Fabulous Monday. Oh, yes, they did let me do Fabulous Monday. So it is. Let's get some people in here. Hello, Barbie. Thank you for joining me, sweetie. It's your day off. Oh, wonderful. So we're going to talk a little bit about a lot of the energies that are coming up and the energies that are coming in this week. And I looked at my biorhythm, and my biorhythm, it works with my astrology. So I looked at it and I'm just like, oh, what's going on? So I looked at that and I can see myself. It's where my body and my mentality is like going. It's like your biorhythm goes like this, right? And it takes all three parts, where it takes my psychic, body, and mental well-being, and it shows me where I peak and where I'm just sort of on the border, and where I start to decline or feel like I really have to work at my energy to bring it back up, or honor myself a lot more with my energy. And with this week, it makes sense that this is a week of honoring my energy, honoring how my energy is flowing for this week, because we are coming into some heavy, crazy energies this week. And I feel where a lot of people got into the illusion that everything's going back to normal and we're all like, everything's going to be fine. But that was part of the illusion. And a lot of people escaping, not working or dealing with what the truth of themselves is. And, and I saw it quite a bit, where people go into numbing themselves. And this is, we're coming into intense. Like, I mean, every week we're pumping it up and pumping it up and pumping it up of intensity that's coming in. And it's coming in more extreme this week. And that has to do with Mars squaring the midpoint of the sun in the nodes. We also have Mars in between Chiron and Neptune, which is all to do with healing and looking at healing. There's a lot of delusional things or ideas that are coming forth, as Mercury stopped and is going retrograde in a day and a half. And we have to get all our facts. There's all, looking for all our facts. What do we need to know for our own selves? What are our long terms? Is that our long term? Does that long term make sense? Is there, is there facts with that long term? So it's getting things down, getting things together, and coming into our space. Like today I woke up at 5. So I woke up at 5 and I just said, fine, I'm up, let me get going. Did my ceremony, did my cacao ceremony, getting into that, did my set of Kundalini, and then I started my set with another exercise program I'm doing. So getting myself, like I thought maybe I wouldn't do one, and I thought, no, I need to work this energy through. Like, it's funny because in my Kundalini, it's like, where do you feel the blocks? Where are you feeling the blocks? So I did a lot of breath of fire this morning. And in the last set of breath of fire, I was just like, oh my God, this is exhausting. Like, I was exhausted at the end. I wasn't, so I had to go back into it and really start to feel, and just, instead of doing the true breath of fire, just taking some long, deep breaths and feeling where my blocks are within me. What am I holding on to, and what is my fear? And that numbing yourself out is sometimes very easy. We do it very easily. So if your body's in pain, we'll numb ourselves out so we don't feel the pain. If things aren't going our way, we might numb ourselves out on a TV show or something that, something that will get us so we're not thinking about it. And so this is where this energy is coming in and saying, okay, if you got stuff to do, it's time to start doing it. It's time to start looking at it, because there's so many things that are going to be pulling it, and there's energies that are uncontrollable that are going to be coming in this week. And it's a build up to a summer, to the summer solstice. It's a build up to a solar eclipse, and things aren't going to be the same after this solar eclipse. This solar eclipse is extremely transformational and bringing in, and Venus, because Venus goes back 3 degrees every time it goes retrograde in Gemini. So we're coming into energies that we haven't seen, being with Venus retrograde in Gemini. So this energy that's coming in with her, like she's at 7 degrees and 6 seconds, I think it is, and she's going back in up to 6 degrees. So there's this uncharted energy that is coming into the depths of our souls that we have to start looking at, that we have to start dealing with or working with. And even within the outside consciousness, a lot of people don't want to pay attention to what's going on, or don't want to talk about what's going on, or they feel they can't talk about what's going on the outside world. And we have to. This is this is stepping up, maybe even questioning, why is everybody still wearing masks? Do they need to wear masks? I think in some parts it's kind of silly. It's my perspective. Whereas it's like so much there that's just not being opened up. And I was just reading an article on where it said defunding the police. And, and someone was saying, oh my God, that's horrible. How can you defund the police? First of all, I want people to understand you're not getting it. You're not getting what that means. Maybe it's not the right language, but it is a language that needs to be heard. It's coming from the streets. It's coming from where you have to understand what defunding the police means. Defunding the police means that we want to reallocate funds so that they go, because right now we have defunded people in poverty. We defunded our mental illness to get help for people with mental problems. We've defunded people who are homeless. We've defunded so many other areas. And especially in in areas that are either blue collar or lower income areas. So this is looking at, okay, if we can just start to look at where would it be for our society to bring forth a better world. We're not saying, because it's like when you call 911, they're going to ask you what you need, right? What do you need? And this is where it's like, we're not defunding your ambulance. Maybe it's ambulance that you need. Maybe it's fire that you need, right? So this is looking at to really re-understanding what that means. Because it is about Black Lives Matter. This energy is coming in, and there's so much intensity coming in with Neptune, with Uranus, with Saturn. So these are the three outer, like, especially Uranus and Saturn are Uranus and Neptune coming in. They're part of our subconscious, of all of that has been suppressed is coming up. And people don't want to pay attention to it. They don't want to talk about it, or they want to numb themselves. It's like, oh, well, I don't want to see that. That's too violent, or that's too much. But when we're coming down, and I've always said this in my scopes, if you've been following me, it is a grassroots is going to make the change. The grassroots, the people on the streets. And this is where the energy is coming from. It's starting to rumble. It's starting to vibrate. It's starting to, create and make differences. And how are we going to create and make differences? That means we have to look at where funds are going. We have to understand, like even here in Canada, even with our Calgary City Police, why are you asking me for my information if I'm just standing on a street corner? I'm not doing anything. I might be just waiting or watching a parade or waiting for a friend, but you want to card me or you want to take my information. Why? And if I'm standing there with my husband, that's even, why are you social profiling me? It happens. But this is where people have to understand what things mean. When you write this out there and then there's a huge article and everybody who, this is like, I'm going to just throw everybody who wrote on that was fucking white. I know I'm white, but saying, oh, don't do that. All of you came from white fucking privilege. And you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to deal with it. Because it's so easy to turn a blind eye and say, oh, this too shall pass. And life will go back to normal. I'm looking at the astrology. It's not going. More is coming. And I keep telling people the intensity is growing. And if people as a society, individuals, are not looking at it, are not starting to look internally and wanting to make changes, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. And this is where the energies are coming in. It's saying, what are you looking at? Are you dealing with things spiritually? Are you dealing with your own prejudice? Are you dealing with your hatred? Like, I know most people that I talk to, they say, oh, I'm not prejudiced. I don't understand how this can happen in 2020. Really? It's only been a couple generations since there's been free slaves. It's only been since 1997 since we've had schooling for the natives and natives being taken out of their home. So how can it be happening now? Well, the energies are saying everybody needs to wake the fuck up. And a lot of times people would rather, oh, this is all normal. We're going back to normal. Patios are open. Let's party. Let's forget what's happening. Let's forget what's going on. But in is coming this undercurrent of energy. And especially with Neptune. Neptune is just, when everything else is retrograde, the only thing that's going to be going forward for the next while is going to be Uranus and Mars. The God of War and the crazy grandpa are the only ones that are going to be going forward. So change is happening. Awakening is coming in. And it's coming in hard and fast. And it's coming to a point where, you guys can call me crazy, that's fine. Or, this is like real, what is she talking about? What does she know? Right? Social distraction. Right. And when I see those posts out, I'm going to, I will post on them because I see them and it's like, you know what? You guys have no idea. Everybody who posted on that one post was white. And I'm like, each one of you have no fucking idea what it means and what social profiling is. It doesn't matter. You don't get it. You don't understand and you haven't gone into it and you haven't done any work to understand or do some education. Understand what's happened on our reserve. Understand what's happened to a lot of the Black communities here in Canada. I'm talking about Canada. let alone the United States. But this is where the energy's coming in. It's about social unrest. The energy's coming in about social unrest. As Saturn is slowly retrograding back into Capricorn, it's coming into the disruption of our society as a whole. What is working and what isn't working. And change has to happen. The disruption's happening. I tell everybody, you know, by the fall, we're going to be in a crazier lockdown than what you think we are now. We're coming into another event that's going to be causing an economic crisis. Another 2 this year, one at the end of June and one in November. And that has to do with that Pluto and Jupiter conjunction. They're pretty close right now, but they will be conjuncting by about the 28th of June. So we're going to see things by possibly the end of next week, going into July. Things more of a heavier economic crunch coming in. We're going to be feeling more of people feeling out of it. Mental health is going to be a huge one that's going to be uprising through all of this. So here we are. And the energies are showing me that we got to start looking into our own selves. What are you not dealing with? And I keep saying, what are we not dealing with? Start dealing with the things that you need to start working on. Mine was health, and I'm working on my health. Is it hard? Damn fucking right it's hard. Some days I just, want to say, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. But getting up, doing what I have to do, exercising, eating better, watching what I eat, taking proper vitamins and minerals every single day. It can be a chore. It's easier not to do it. It's easier to order McDonald's, or it's easier to go out and do something else. But this is part of it. Bringing that energy back in to revive myself. Some days I feel like I'm still dragging my ass, but I know there's some changes that are happening within me. This is bringing in, and now it's opening me up to more information, more, bringing forth more spirit. But I have to do that work. I have to do that acknowledgement on where I'm at in my life in order to make the changes. And that's where people have to start looking. Where are you at? Where some are your jobs are going to be dissolved. Some jobs that you've been at are going to be totally dissolved. They're not going to be there anymore. What is it? I mean, and that's a crisis in your life. So this is what do you want to start to create in your life? Many people have relied on government, on social assistance, on other things for a long time. What are we going to do when it's dissolved? When it is no more? We're coming in. We're in this pressure cooker, and it's just I feel like the gates are open now, and we're just starting to feel this week is going to be an extremely intense week. Extremely intense. And in order for us we have to do our own internal selves and take an internal look. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. A lot of people will zone me out and say, oh yeah, all she does is talk about negativity. It's not negativity. It's awareness. When you become aware, you're able to make the fucking changes. If you're not aware, if you're going around with blinders on, you can't make changes. It's the temperance coming in, the balance. What are you doing in your balance in order to take the path to the rising sun? What are you doing? What does it look like? What does it feel like? There's going to be frustration. I know it. It is. And then we have that total eclipse, and we're going to be going through a dark moon in Gemini, Mercury retrograde in Cancer. I don't know. It's like, yeah, people will want to zone out because this is a lot of intensity. It's putting you into a crash course of saying, start to feel your feelings, start to deal with your feelings, start to deal with your life, start to deal with what's going on. And you're just like, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin. There's many different people out there that you can reach out to, that you can start doing and working with your own internal core. Meditations, yoga groups. There's many out there. My readings, pick a price, $50, $90, $160. Doesn't matter what the reading is. The readings are all still the same. It's just a different price. Divination classes coming out. So if you want to learn more about divination, you want to learn more about working with the tarot or the oracle cards, or you want to get more into the esoteric, the divination class is a fabulous one to take. Stepping into it. It's only $88. So there's things that are coming up that are there for you, but are you willing to utilize them? Are you willing to step and put your life, start making changes within your life? It's crazy. And that Venus retrograde, as she goes back to 6 degrees, I think that's where we're going to find, because she's our love, she's our self, she's that internal core. And she's going, it's like she just went down another layer into hell before we're going to see her as our morning star. And she starts going forward. So it's taking us into an extra depth of our soul and feeling that depth of our soul. As she starts to, then she starts to begin to ascend again. So we're coming into our dark places of our soul, and our dark places of our soul as a society too. And we're going to see it more. But in order to change it, we start to bring in our love. We start to bring in our light. We start to bring in and start to look at those places and those things that we need, and admit it to ourselves. Yeah, this is what I need to do. Each day, and each day. That's why I started, with Zingler. It was that kick. It was giving me that kick to really start to make changes in my life, to give me that boost. The cacao ceremony start to give me that boost to start to make those changes each and every day and dedicate that time for it. And it is. I mean, I can tell by my biorhythms, like this is really transformational for me, and really bringing in some hard aspects, hard aspects as it is in my chart too, in really forcing change. So that's the other thing. Get a natal chart done so you get to understand what your natal chart is. And when you understand your natal chart and what's going on, it takes time. I mean, one reading is sometimes not, one reading sort of gives you an idea. But when you start looking at your chart every day and understanding each of the houses and where the planets are in the houses, and that, it gives you a little bit more of an in-depth of how your rhythm goes, how you feel each and every day, and can step into your rhythms, which is important. So I'm going to love you and leave you on that. They told me to pull a card. So I'm going to pull a card from my astrology. Boop. Got the black moon astrology cards that I just got last week. And tomorrow is the astrology reading. The intuitive astrology readings tomorrow for each of your sun, moon, and rising sign. I think everybody's going to duck and hide. Mm. Ha. I'm laughing. Saturn return. Saturn return is age. Saturn return is when we start to grow up, when we start to really take more responsibility in our lives. So this Saturn return is about looking at where are you needing to grow up? Where are you needing to take responsibility in your life? Usually Saturn returns happen between 28 and 32 for people. The first one, and then the next one happens between 57, 58, 59, could go up to 60 for their next Saturn return. So it's judgment. So difficulties, paying your dues, moving to the next level, putting the past behind you, correction. So with this Saturn return, that's all what this week is all about. It's about our difficulties. It's about looking at things and putting things behind us. Andy Warhol said, they always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. So Saturn is the lord of karma, and he shatters all illusions, and that's what he's starting to do. And as he goes back into Capricorn, he's going to be shattering a lot. And with that, we have the Grand Cross. So what's provoker? It's the provoker. So the energies are starting to provoke. The energies are starting to get us to look at things in a deeper way. Start to look at things in a way that brings in transformation and change. So the Nine of Wands. Where are we wanting to make the change? The discipline, the pressure, growth, defensive, competition, right? And victory. So this is life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. Helen Keller. So this is all about change. This is about bringing in an activation of change. If you're not doing your work, I mean, I know Candace says she feels jazzed with this energy, which is awesome. But not everybody is. A lot of people are feeling a lot of heavy aspects with this and changes with this and making the changes. And that's where it is, because Venus, Aries, Mars is going to be going back into Aries, and that's war. War is take action. What are you taking action for your long term? And it's and with all these, with a lot of hard squares that are coming in, this is all about taking action. What are you taking action to do? What are you doing in order to make the long term work? Right? What are you doing in order to make the changes for the long term? Because we're going to see it in the consciousness, and we're going to see it out there where changes are going to be forced upon people that are not wanting to make the changes, that aren't wanting to do the work that they need to do. And we're going to see a lot more social unrest coming this week. A lot. So this isn't something that is subsiding. This is something that is coming in for transformation and change for people. And when the Saturn return shows up, you know, the Saturn return is about growing up. This is about putting things, this is about looking in and putting things together, right? And making the changes that need to happen. Yeah, changes whether you like it or not. And some people are great with it, some people aren't. But I can tell you 90% of the population is not ready for the changes or don't want the changes. And so far, my predictions that I've had, I know a few people have told me, wow, they've come true. And it's just going off the astrology, and the energy's coming in from the astrology and going forth with the astrology. And that can be very frustrating for people. That can be overwhelming for people. And a lot of times people don't want to deal with it. So on that point, Look at your delusional things that are happening. Mercury's going retrograde in a day and a half. A lot of weird combos. And it's about looking at taking action. Taking action. Being overwhelmed. Yeah. A lot of the being overwhelmed is taking a step back on what are you overwhelmed about. Make a list. Look at your list. What am I overwhelmed? What is it that because maybe it's something that you need to start looking at within your own self. Ground yourself, journal work. All of that has to come in. And many times people don't want to. They want the quick fix. Quick fixes. Yeah. It's like the Three Little Pigs. Which house do you want? Right? And when I see posts about people, I honestly really feel that people need to educate themselves. Read books about what it means to be, or the Black people in North America or around the world, and the oppression they went through. I know the Native Americans have too. But we're also looking into some deeper issues that are happening and that that are coming to surface. And this is one of the most intense eclipses coming out right now. And we're not going to see a new moon in Leo this year. Not right now. So there's not a lot of fire coming in. It's a lot of water, a lot of emotion, a lot of Cancer energy, taking control of your emotions, looking at your higher self, your mother self, and the energies with that. And along with that, after this one, we have a Capricorn lunar eclipse, Capricorn full moon, lunar eclipse with Saturn coming home and Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. I am glad I am finding a flow in my life right now, and I'm really honoring the flow that I have to take, and allowing myself to do the flow that I need, and it's so important. Sending you guys out so much love. If you need to book an appointment, definitely. The readings are $15, $90, or $160. You pick a price. I'm actually, this week's full, so it wouldn't be this week, but there's space next week and coming to the end of the month. So it's intense, right? I'm a Cancer moon too, and a Cancer ascendant, but it's doing the work. I'm star high. It's doing the work, and it's not going into numbing yourself. If you're going into numbing yourself, because Cancers will numb themselves, water signs will numb themselves. It's not numbing yourself. It's coming in. Get outside, ground yourself, get in the sun. Allow for that energy to radiate you, to bring forth. That's what needs to be done. Are you journaling? Are you watching what you eat? Are you bringing in really good nutrition into your body? What is it that you're doing in order to bring forth the nutrients? That's why I started Zingler. Set up sacred space, right? Because that's what Cancer wants. They want the sacred space. They want to feel that flow, to come into that flow and honor your feelings. Write out your feelings. In the Intuitive Shaman, we just went a week with, hopefully, I'm praying to God that they did the work for this week and everything that I've been giving them for this week of water, because it sure in the hell will help them as we're heading into, we're coming into the fire energy that I'm working with them on in the Intuitive Shaman class. So this is really work people have to do. And that's not sitting down in front of TVs watching and playing games. This is about getting out, connecting with self, doing the meditations, doing the yoga. This isn't about going out and drinking or smoking or whatever it is. This is intensity. Because if you're not doing it, you're going to find things are going to just fuck up in your life so badly that you don't even know what the fuck just happened. That's where the energies are, especially with Saturn, because Saturn is the Lord of karma. And Neptune coming into 20 degrees, Neptune sitting there, he's still in the stormy seas. He's still bringing in. It's just like, you're coming through the storm and you think it's kind of like a calm piece. That's the delusion, because it's not. So sending you out so much love and bringing in so much love to you. And may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you do and all that you say and then all you be. Blessed be everybody. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye.